Hello and welcome to Elecspo, and a while back I looked at every Premier League club's best ever player on FIFA and it was a roaring success, the best video I've done since taking this channel over. So today we're going for gold once again, but this time I'm looking at the worst player each club's had. Like last time I'll be using the ratings from the game's first release, none of the updated versions, and we're looking at ratings starting from FIFA 07 and ending with FIFA 21. And if you're new to Elecspo and like what you see, please ping that subscribe button and give the bell a little tap to ensure you never miss a video. Let's go. Arsenal, Matt Macey. I feel like every time I do a worst of video, Matt Macey's the option for Arsenal. It's probably the most coverage he gets. The goalkeeper is the worst ever rated player to appear for Arsenal, with his rating on FIFA 16 of 51, which actually makes him one of the best worst players in this video, so well done Matt. The poor ratings never keep him down though, as Matt Macey is still a gunner in 2020, despite never playing a Premier League game for the club. At least his rating's gone up, with Macey now a whopping 65. Aston Villa, Brad Lewis and Derek Williams. We've got co-worst evers for the Villa, with two players in years gone by getting ratings of just 49. First it was Derek Williams on FIFA 12, then Brad Lewis 3 years later on FIFA 15. The former has certainly kicked on from that low of 9 years ago, and is now a Blackburn Rovers veteran and a 68 rated player on FIFA 21. As for Lewis, this seems to have been the only time he's actually appeared on the game, but never mind. Brighton, Kane Wills. The ratings keep on tumbling, and here we've got ex-Brighton teen Kane Wills, who appeared on FIFA once way back in 2008 when FIFA 09 hit the shelves, and still holds the honour of being Brighton's worst ever player, with our lowest rating yet of 42. Kane Wills? Kane won't. Burnley, J. Rodriguez. 4 teams in and we've actually got a player who's kind of a big deal in 2020. Well, he's a Premier League forward, he's a bigger deal than me and you. But despite being an England international and a goal scorer in the top flight of English football, J. Rodriguez actually goes down as the worst FIFA player in Burnley's history. You've got to go back to FIFA 09 once again, which was clearly a bad game to be if you were a teenager, and the 18-year-old was just a 41 rating when the game was released. All hope wasn't lost though, as he at least had potential to reach 84, something I don't think he ever did. Chelsea, George Saville. I mean, that's an unfortunate name this day and age, isn't it? And not only did he have a dodgy name, he also had a suspect rating, with Saville getting just a 43 on FIFA 12 back when he was at Chelsea. As expected, he never really got a chance to prove his worth at Stamford Bridge, but he's at least turned into a handy championship player, and someone who's a lot better than a 43 now on FIFA. Nowadays he's with Middlesbrough, and on FIFA 21 he's rated 70 on the most recent update. Still, that name, you'd change it, wouldn't you? Crystal Palace, James Comley. Next up we've got another footballer you've probably never heard of, and a young lad who got an absolute pasting on his first appearance on the game we know and love. When FIFA 09 was released, Comley was just a 46, but at least by the time FIFA 10 came out he'd hit the 50s. By FIFA 11 he was gone though, never to be seen on FIFA again. Everton, Tyus Browning. Back to the familiar names, and despite once being highly rated at Goodison Park, Tyus Browning's actually their worst ever player for his appearance on FIFA 13, back when he was just an unknown teenager. When the game came out he was only a 49 rating, but that would certainly improve in the coming years, with his potential reaching the mid-70s, which would at least make him an average Premier League defender. But everyone's shocked, Browning is now making a career in China and is actually a Chinese citizen. Fulham, Dan Burn. From a man playing in China to the biggest left back known to man, next up we've got Brighton's Dan Burn, who holds the honour of being Fulham's worst ever FIFA player. I mean, he's probably not arsed. It came at a time when he was rebuilding his career having played non-league after being binned off by Newcastle as a kid. But on FIFA 12 he was only a 47 rating, back when he probably hadn't even finished growing. On FIFA 21 he's probably a few inches taller and a lot better with a decent rating of 75. Leeds United, Curtis Weston and Jonathan Lund. We've got two players as joint worst for Leeds United, with both men getting a rating of 45 back in the day. In fact, they both got 45 on FIFA 08, then the year later Lund apparently hadn't improved at all and was once again 45. As for Weston, he'd gone down and was a 42, but is a Gillingham player, so that's not our problem. At the age of 33, Weston is still playing and now represents Chesterfield in the National League. Leicester City, Luke O'Neill. We're halfway there, and Leicester's worst ever FIFA player is actually the joint worst in this video. Luke O'Neill, who just sounds like a fullback doesn't he, is a 40 alongside two other players who will come to in this video, and he got 40s back to back on FIFA 09 and FIFA 10. I mean, he's only 16 at the time, he probably wasn't even allowed to go and buy FIFA without his mum's permission. But in 2020 he can do what he likes, and he's now a Wimbledon player with a 63 rating on FIFA 21. So at least he's gone up. Christ, imagine if he got worse. Liverpool, Ryan Flynn. Christ, Liverpool are just the best at everything. Even in a worst players video they've still got the joint top rating. The worst ever player on the game came once again from FIFA 09, and it was the 51 rated Ryan Flynn. 1 year later he returned to Scotland, but did he ever reach that 70 potential that FIFA 09 thought he had? In short, no, and he's now a 64 rated player at St Mirren. Manchester City Joel Latibeaudiere. Man City's worst ever player is a bit of a mouthful, and the most recent player to feature in this video. Latibeaudiere's rating of 47 is the worst ever for a City player, and actually came on FIFA 18 when he was just 17 years old. I mean, that's pretty surprising, considering how bad City used to be back in the day. You'd think the whole team would be that bad. Man United Ashley Fletcher. We mentioned him on our worst player on FIFA 16 video, and once again it's Ashley Fletcher who is Man United's worst of all time. His 48 rating from that game was a low moment for the striker, who has come a long way since then to turn into a somewhat competent championship striker. There was a point in time I thought Paul Pogba was going to be Man United's worst, as he was only a 55 rating on FIFA 12. Graham Stooners would probably argue that's all he should be today, if he knows what FIFA is. Newcastle United Adam Campbell. We've got another striker, and a man who was once tipped to be the next big thing at Newcastle. That was until Adam Armstrong came around, another forward who never really got going in a Toon shirt. But back on FIFA 13, the pint-sized ginger Geordie Adam Campbell was only a 50 rating, but with potential of 77 at the age of 17, there was at least hope and belief that he could kick on in years to come. Sadly, it just didn't happen for Campbell, who now plays his football for Darlington. Sheffield United Paul Crichton. While most of the players in this video have been young pups, Sheffield United's worst ever player was actually a man in his 40s. That's because coach Paul Crichton was registered as a player by the Blades before FIFA 11's release, who rewarded the veteran with a less than pleasant rating of 40. I wonder what Petr Cech has actually rated for Chelsea, since they've effectively done the same. Southampton Tony Garrard. Back to the kids, but another player who only got a rating of 40 on FIFA 11. Maybe it was buy one get one free. Southampton's worst ever player on FIFA is Tony Garrard, who at the time was an 18-year-old striker who wasn't tipped to amount to much, with a potential of just 54. He didn't reach it as this was his only appearance on the game, with Garrard spending his career outside the Football League. Tottenham Leicester Dumbax. From Tottenham we've got an Angolan attacking midfielder, a lad who seemed to have a bit of pace, and that was literally it. His FIFA 14 rating of 47 makes him Tottenham's worst ever player, and like so many it was the only year he appeared on the game. West Brom Graham Dorrans. Back to the well-known lads, and Graham Dorrans is a man who's taken his career to Australia, a place I'm sure we all wish we were right now as we suffer through Lockdown 2 Electric Boogaloo. But the score is actually West Brom's worst ever, with his 46 rating on FIFA 09. But no matter how bad he once was on FIFA, this is a lad who scored some absolute bangers in his career, so who cares about how crap he once was on a video game? West Ham Jack Jeffrey. For the first and only time in this video we're going all the way back to FIFA 07, back when incredible graphics and Ultimate Team were just a pipe dream. We're looking at a lad called Jack Jeffrey, who at 16 had a rating of just 44 as a striker. He got better once FIFA 09 came out and was a 54, but that was as good as it got. Wolves Ben O'Hanlon and Alex Melbourne. We end things as always with Wolves and two players who only got 45 ratings on FIFA. Ben O'Hanlon was 45 on FIFA 15, while Alex Melbourne got the same rating as a Wolves player on FIFA 09. Unsurprisingly, no Portuguese players feature on Wolves' worst. Those guys have literally dragged the club at the top alongside Conor Cody. So there we go, that's every Premier League club's worst ever player on FIFA since FIFA 07. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. As always, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to Elecspo, and until next time we will see you around.